Pisces, hey, what is going on? Welcome into the channel. So happy to be here with you always. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we're going to look at your energy for the next week or so whenever you find this reading via the tarot, astrology, any channeled messages that come through, as well as some Ayurvedic or holistic wellness practices that we can incorporate just to help enliven our optimal functioning, optimal well-being. So with that, let's get into it. I hope that you are doing well today. We're in Cancer season. The astrology I use for the readings are current, but the messages are always timeless. So take what resonates, leave the rest behind. But we're in Cancer season and we're starting to go through a retrograde season. Specifically, the outer planets. Neptune goes into retrograde today. Pluto's already in retrograde. Mercury's in retrograde, and Saturn is going to follow at the end of the month. So when we're dealing with the outer planets, it talks a lot about our spiritual growth and evolution. And Cancer has a tendency to bring up things that make us feel a little bit more sensitive, places where we need to kind of focus on our comfort, our support, our sustenance, the way we build that foundation for ourselves. So we do have something to come back to that can actually help us sustain, right? That's kind of where that nourishment component is really important. And what does that mean practically? It's just, Ayurveda looks at this like it's a balance of activity and rest, making sure that you're, doing things that really honor yourself, but you're not pushing yourself too far one way or the other. And it can be a little bit challenging during water seasons, as I'm sure you know, you're a water sign. And so it can bring up a lot of emotion. It does heighten our intuition as well. And it's specifically with Neptune just moving into retrograde. It's going to highlight some of those places that we can feel a little bit cloudy, foggy in our intuitive world. Whether that's illusion or fantasy, or it's hard to see certain things clearly. But that's where retrogrades really help us to slow down, to not push anything ahead too quickly or without doing the proper vetting. That's also why I like to start the readings off with an energy cleansing. Just set the tone, set the vibe for the reading. Cleanse out those places we might feel blocked or limited. It's a really good time to set your own intention for the reading as well, especially if you've come in with something on your heart, on your mind, something you would like Spirit to deliver messages to you around. Definitely give that over. Be open to receive. It really is a great way to personalize these collective readings. And if it's not your thing, you can totally skip ahead from the blessing. I put the chapters down below, but you'll still receive the good vibes also, always. I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing and wellness services, and readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how it's faring, where it's headed. I also do energy healing if you're looking for more of a realignment, mind, body, soul, as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. Because when we are aligned in self, that's really where we're finding our happiness, our fulfillment. We're able to manifest the desires of our heart. And I would totally love to help support that for you in whatever way possible. Definitely hit me up. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. I am working on my website currently, so hopefully it will be up and running at some point this summer. All right, with that, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being, so I may see and understand the messages clearly and help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels, Mama Love, Mama. All right, Pisces, I am picking up this energy of feeling a little bit sensitive. Not to be too redundant, but I feel like that's kind of where that nourishment component comes into play, like I was just talking about. The need to surround or make sure that you're investing in more of the people and situations that do support you right now, especially because of whatever is pulling at your heartstrings or making you feel a little bit more on the sensitive side. With this energy that just fell out, the spacesuit, the nest, the mayflies, it feels like you might have been in an environment or dealing with a situation that you thought had a little bit more strength and endurance behind it. You thought something was going to have more longevity than what it did. And it feels a little bit fair weather, right? Fair weather friends, fair weather interactions with, whatever it may be for you. Everyone, it's going to be different. Maybe you're looking for a new job or finding ways to strengthen, support that foundation that I was talking about in the very beginning. So you're working on catching different options. I'm hearing it's like you still are trying to get clear on how you want things to look, or like what your next steps are, because it does kind of feel like whatever you were expecting to take off or continue to sustain for a long period of time, it is a little bit unexpected, right? Like you weren't really banking on that or planning for it. And so I'm hearing some of that sensitivity is about readjusting and not taking things too personally. Easier said than done. You might be a little bit like wallowing in your sorrow and your pity. It looks like this week is a lot about releasing, like grieving, releasing, letting go. And for something that feels a little bit hard, it feels hard. It feels like the hope of what you wanted it to be versus what it actually is really disappointing. And I think it's something that you're still working through. It looks like this is something that, if it's going to be around in your life, you're adjusting your boundaries. You're adjusting exactly how you are. I don't know. Like it looks like you're adjusting, right? You don't want to give of yourself in a way that compromises yourself. And perhaps like you were in a space where you were giving more than what was being invested back into you. But again, like it doesn't look like you've completely made peace with what is happening. And it feels like that's what you're trying to do this week. Also, I don't know. It feels like it's definitely in your heart, like it's stuck. Like for some reason, there is some struggle to kind of process through or to make peace with whatever is happening. We have the Justice card. So someone is looking at things from a very diplomatic perspective. And in a way that it's like, it is kind of forcing you to make a decision with this Two of Swords. Again, I think this is unexpected. I think there's something about this where you're not giving yourself other options, right? Like you might be focusing on something that just isn't available, or maybe you're trying to make it more available to you. Everyone is looking at the dynamic, like I said, from this very rational perspective, not wanting to, I don't know, like, I feel like that's exactly how someone's treating you. They're not communicating a lot to you. It looks like they're kind of sitting more on the sidelines, weighing the pros and cons, weighing out what's best for them, as people should. But it's also this energy of you, it's not fair to you in the way that like it's hard to see things clearly. Like there's not a lot of open, honest, candid conversations happening. And if anything, like you're in this space where you feel like you have to self-protect, or you have to make some decisions, or maybe you're going out of your way to try to make someone happy, or like kind of backtrack or sweep up it doesn't feel like it's a mess. It just feels like something's changed, and it doesn't really feel like it's in alignment with you, or maybe you think that was the right thing. Like, I don't know, there's part of you that's struggling to let go, right? There still is some attachment playing out. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because like I said, like you are seeing the disconnects. I think you're very aware. Yes, it does look like you believe that there's still a way to sort through things so it can work. And I don't know, someone is hearing or seeing what you're doing, but at the same time, still kind of like making decisions for themselves behind the scenes. And I feel like you don't really want to make any decisions or choices. It looks like you have been in self-protection mode, i.e. why the shooting star is in your blocked energy. So that just is talking about how you're not really opening up the doors to other options, things that actually do feel a little bit better, more heart honoring. And there can be a myriad of reasons of why not, right? Like we all put in a certain amount of effort. You know, we don't want to commit to something just to have it fall apart. And that's kind of how it looks. Even though you feel like you're in a tight space, like it does kind of look like you've been backed into a corner. I do like that your Queen of Cups, this is your energy. So as much as it might feel a little bit raw right now, beginning of the week or whenever you find this message, you're able to kind of gain your strength and your clarity around it. I think this is a lot about you making plans for yourself. Like, you're not really making any decisions this week. I don't see that. I see that you want to be really mindful about the steps that you take. And so this is you connecting with that intuitive part of yourself, like we were talking about, using that more as your strength. Because topically, like I said, nothing's really getting said. Nothing's being discussed. It's a lot of stuff that's happening in the background. And it feels like as soon as you're able to make peace to some capacity, it doesn't mean you have to be over and done with it. Like, you can still grieve and have your thoughts and feelings, etc. But as soon as there's acceptance, maybe that's a better way to say it, accepting what things are, it's going to help give you the insight and the clarity that you do really need. And in a way that I feel like ends up benefiting you, because walking into this reading, it doesn't feel like there's a lot benefiting you right now. And it's hard to not only acknowledge that to yourself, I think you're still wanting to believe that it's like better, or like I said, there's more opportunity available in something where there's not. Wheel of Fortune. Someone's definitely in a space where they're going to be making choices for themselves. Ooh, Seven of Swords. Making choices, like I said, they're, this is a very independent energy. It's very much an energy that's self-focused. It's not as focused on you, on the relationship, on the dynamic. It does look like you have to, but again, I don't know if it's just because nothing's being talked about. I'm going to clarify this Seven of Swords real quick. Okay, so the Star, healing. It looks like you also are working behind the scenes, but it might not be as intentional or as proactive as whatever's going on over here, because it looks like whatever's happening, someone's making a decision, like I said, but for their own best interest. And you, as you're coming around, as you're understanding, as you're realizing what is going on, it's helping you make choices that I feel like are important. I don't know. Like, you do feel a little bit stuck and limited this week. I apologize. In a way that, this does make a lot of sense. We have the Star, we have the Moon, and the King of Pentacles. So really struggling over how someone's choosing to do things. I feel like this is also someone's behavior, someone's sneaky behavior coming out with the Wheel of Fortune and the Seven of Swords. So, Two of Cups and the Sun. Clarity's coming in. You are going to get the answers that you need, even if it does come in a way that feels unexpected. I'm going to clarify their energy over here, this Nine of Pentacles. Why they're not opening up to Pisces. Let's look. Seven of Wands. Someone's on the defensive. Also, like, reacting out of, like, they're also feeling backed into a corner, but I think it's a little bit more illusionary. And the Nine of Wands, this makes a lot of sense. Seven of Wands, Nine of Wands. Those are very defensive energies. And oftentimes they're energies that you're not, like, whatever this is for you, isn't really seeing things very clearly. They're, again, putting their own self-interest first, which if I were talking to them, if I was doing a reading for them, I'd be like, you also might have more options. Like, it feels like they're shutting down certain things with you because of their perception, but it's coming out of more negativity or being on the defensive or not really knowing how to ask for what they want. And so I feel like for both situations, both parties, a lot is happening in the background. And it looks like you do have to check someone or something up with this flask and rope energy. It's either something's coming back up that is toxic, that feels like inappropriate, and you do have to lay some boundaries down. Because, like I said, it feels to me like you're very much looking at this person's situation from that lens of, like, I love them, I care about them, I want the best for them, whatever, right? Like, you have your heart is soft towards this dynamic. But it's also something that's showing you that maybe you can't be. Unfortunately, sorry, Pisces. Nine of Swords, lots of anxiety, lots of fear. Maybe someone was letting fear get the best of them, and then they made some decisions that feel a little bit like not so nice. Like maybe decisions, again, that made sense at the time. Queen of Swords energy. She's really diplomatic. She's really just like looking at the pros and cons, and definitely leaves her heart out of it. And Queen of Swords, Justice are connected energies as well in the tarot. They're Libra energy, which is about partnership. It is about being diplomatic, but it also looks like that's really hard for someone to do. It's hard for someone to kind of remove the personal out of it, even though like that's what we've been talking about like the whole reading. Maybe why you're feeling overly sensitive to whatever that is going on. Two of Swords, because you do have to make a decision. It does look like either someone's pushing you to make a decision, whether this is intentionally or not, like they're actually saying like you have to choose this or you have to choose this, or their actions, whatever they are doing, it's forcing you to make that choice. Like you recognize some type of boundary is going to be established. And it does feel like whatever the boundary is actually helping the dynamic. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, because this feels like this is something that's either you've outgrown, it's ran its course in your life. And again, I'm not saying you have to cut it off. When things end, when things change, it doesn't mean we have to say screw you to whomever, whatever we're dealing with, unless this is something like less personal. You know, if it is someone that you care about, family, someone you're close with, partnership, friendship, etc., it's not like you have to cut them off. That's not what I'm saying about something ending. A dynamic, the way something is set up is changing. And it does feel like there are some limitations on this. I'm also seeing that like more answers are coming to you as things unfold this week. It looks like you're going to get the exact answers that you want. Maybe someone gets some liquid courage. I'm hearing the communication that does end up happening comes unexpected. It's unexpected for you. It's also unexpected for whomever, whatever you're dealing with. But that also feels like where things start going a little bit awry, because it's not like whomever, whatever you're dealing, like they want answers. You're the one who wants answers. You're the one who's kind of seeking to understand or have a little bit more balance or re-regulating this dynamic so it doesn't have to go south. Staying in the present moment, not allowing that fear, that anxiety that we saw get the best of you, because that's actually just adding a lot more burden and stress to the situation in general. And I know that's easier said than done, but that's where the present moment really is a blessing. You know, we do what we can with what we can when we can. So acknowledging that for yourself. And I think just being present is going to actually help this dynamic unfold as well, like quicker is what I want to say, especially in those places where there is difficulty or like there isn't a lot of clarity. The more that you can just be at peace, it's going to help that flow. Underlying pattern. This is a pattern. It's a pattern that is going to come to the surface. It feels like it already has. And maybe you're more aware of this pattern than whomever, whatever you're dealing with. But it also feels like as things are being exposed, it gives you a new lease on life is what I'm hearing. Like it gives you the opportunity to kind of make some readjustments and changes for yourself that better honor. It's not easy. Someone does have a hard time with it, but I think that's not really about you, nor is it your responsibility. If anything, it looks like you're just following the tune of someone else, you know, like letting them kind of guide or inform you by their actions, by their behavior, what they really want, because they're not communicating it. And then when they do, I feel like that conversation is going to be a little bit sticky. I don't know that it's happening this week. It might be end of the week. It might be, you know, a little bit more in the future, to be determined, but I'll be back next week to check in. All right, Pisces, thank you so much for your time, energy always. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope you found messages that resonated for you here. Definitely drop comments below if you did. I love to hear, or just say, hey, share, and a little love, a little TLC. I so appreciate all the love, all the support to the channel. No, it blesses my heart, and I am always sending love and blessings back to you.